I'm saying that the only time when we shall, say for example, put down our tools is when the world should have changed to a world of machines alone, okay? But as far as I actually see, the problem cases within biomedical data mining and knowledge discovery in databases are still, plenty and so many, regardless the growing number of scholars within the area. Okay. Data science is surely out there. We're seeing artificial intelligence also just playing this game within the same area. But then all we still have a lot to play as biomedical data mining scholars. Okay. And so in today's engagement, whereas we looked at biomedical data, okay, and how this data actually is presented, how it's stored, those archives, okay, and we saw how various disciplines also contribute towards the same field, okay? And so a field is an interplay of quite a number of other disciplines to enrich it to this particular level, okay? But we see actually it all starts with having biomedical data, keeping, coming in now and again. Okay, it creates such a scenario that surely data is too much, and if it is not put to use, most of us get a feeling that nothing is possible. We saw that the mere fact that data is available, okay, we are very, very expectant of improvements in, say, individual health, improvements in quite a lot of things that surely biomedically require such data, okay, to go on a little successful. So now, in today's engagement, I surely want to pick on from our understanding of data mining as a field, the task that we took on that required us to venture deeper in also the terms that relate the possibility, the existence of surely data around us, and the need to put to use such kind of data, okay? And so when we have data, data is described surely as details that have representation of state, okay? And so when you identify such kind of things, then relate to say core fields, core field names, core text that describes entities, okay? Such description of entities would include things that we know verily and the actual detail about such entities. So now, not blowing about the bush, we then look at field names and or the text itself that describes such data and the actual data that it takes. And so the actual data that it takes informs us of what we call data values. And so as a data manager, as a data scholar, often our interest is in the actual data about such data, okay? And so our data needs to be complete. Our data needs to be of some importance. And so if there's no importance with such kind of data, then it is not useful data. Our data needs to be interpreted very well. And so if such data cannot be interpreted in any sense, then to you as a data scholar, or the data mining scholar, it becomes surely useless having such data. So the new terms that coined in your discussion included terms called big data. And so picking on from your engagement is the desire now to understand that surely as we aiming to make sense of our data, specific activities as scholars we undertake. Okay, just a second, a second. That's I'm only begging a minute. Just a minute. I fix the phone call. I surely will be back in a minute. I hope it's okay. Yeah. Sorry. I think the minute is was a minute, and we are back. Okay. So ideally, we want to see that a number of activities that we undertake surely can lead us to very efficient results. And efficient, when we say efficient results, meaning that they are born from high quality data. Okay. And so the purpose of today is to walk through such kind of activities that we undertake until when it is time for applying what we call uh, 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 our data mining algorithms, our techniques, to the data for surely investigating anything that we said would be interesting about the data, or patterns with the data that is before us. Okay. And so some of those things include what we call data preprocessing. We do engage in such sort of tasks, activities, simply because essentially the data that is around us is often not good quality. Okay, and non-quality data essentially will not guide you and provide you with very good insights for decision making. So our interest is looking into how we can surely avail high quality data, appropriate data for our data mining tasks. Okay, So some of the things that we shall surely get introduced to as we walk through such kind of today's engagement include things like why is data preprocessing important? Okay, why is it important? And so if it's important, then surely how can we proceed and apply data preprocessing? Okay, so when we apply data preprocessing, for what reasons? Okay, and so some of the data preprocessing tasks that we undertake also include things like, as common for each and every, even our youngest scholars, all the nuances into machine learning, data mining, you need to have that skill for data set interpretation. Verily you need to be able to understand the data set when presented before you. And so one of those things is the ability to summarize data. Okay, and so if we can summarize data, then we can get some understanding of, say for example, its distribution. We can understand, say, how most of the data points are surely dispersed, okay, and how, say, for example, it is organized, surely, the data structures of the data that is presented before us. So now other techniques or tasks that you undergo include cleaning. And so we do clean simply because we know we want high quality data. And so we need good quality data, which should basically help us to get very good insights, for better decision making. Okay, now you see that the ultimate goal is decision making. Okay, and so in addition to cleaning, you want to perform integration tasks. Okay, you want to transform the data before you apply your data mining tasks. You want to not to essentially use the entire 1 terabyte of the data. Okay, that is about say a context of interest or the examples of interest, but you want to make sure at least you can pick some representation of data that can help you, that can provide similar insights as though you had utilized the entire 1 terabyte. Okay, and so the last but not least is discretization, almost a little similar to some of our reduction. Okay, although now we see how to we can reduce and finally get a much more bigger picture from a smaller data set. Okay, what is surely data preprocessing to you as a scholar? So we want to see data preprocessing as some of the steps or tasks or activities that our data undergoes, in order to have it of high quality, ready for data mining tasks. If you remember very well, in the data mining, process model, we showed how it all comes from data from various sources, and such data is we know of the characterization of such data. I will not go back into it, but then in this particular engagement we shall talk about even why such data should undergo data preprocessing. Okay, and so because of the state in which it is, surely as a data miner, you have to perform data preprocessing such that at least what you are taking on for your data mining tasks is is the right and good quality data. Okay, so why we pre-process the data, okay, is one of the core topics for today. As our subtopic, why we pre-process data, we shall look at that, and then we shall also be able to look into data summarization. We then can focus on ensuring that our data is clean. Once we have cleaned the data, you're remembering that this data is coming from various sources. We shall aim on to integrating it in at least a single store, okay, such that at least we can base our mining activities on data that is not running, online. That data that is not actively being used by systems, but data that is put off running systems to enable us, make understanding of what is going on within, say, a system of interest, within an interesting desire to get the basics or the best of the business, or to get the best understanding of what you actually handling. Okay, and so we do integrate and transform for the further tasks. So in addition to that, to the integration, once that has been integrated in one place, okay, has been transformed to ensure that at least data is well presented in your database or in your data stores. We can then proceed to data reduction and ensure that we can not use all the data at once, but then just a simple fraction. Lastly is discretization, and we shall end our engagement in this particular note at that point. So why do we pre-process data? First, to your realization is that data in the real world is data, okay? And so by the mere fact that data is data, as a data miner, as a scholar, you ought to, put this to focus and see to it that the data that you're going to utilize for your data mine tasks or for your storage, the data which we intend to archive, okay, needs to be complete. Our data needs to be, be error-free, because the moment we use, you remember the concept, the statement of, garbage in is garbage out. So if you feed in garbage, indeed expect to also have garbage. I remember an instance of the U-Boss people with their activities. Okay, at the end of the huge census, you remember what happened. Okay, you would have feed that included very wrongly placed data, and percentages were not tallying. Things weren't actually tallying simply because somewhere, somehow, we did not surely present the qualities of a good data miner. Okay, so because data is data, we ought to put that to focus and aim onto archiving, high quality data, which can then be relied upon for either classification, clustering, and further data mining tasks. So now, why is data data? It's simply because often our data is incomplete. Okay, often you have the non-applicable. Often you have when those gentlemen and women that are pushed out into the field, okay, enumerators often might not take certain fields relevant or important, okay, and so as they're engaging, say for example, the data owners. And so we are saying that often, this is not taken important. So some fields are left blank, okay? Some would simply indicate not applicable, and all intentionally enumerators may, or data collectors may simply, or research assistants may simply leave those fields empty, okay? And so when you run analyses, you surely find that things are not tallying well. There's nothing of interest that is coming from the data the data is not of any sense simply because certain attribute values were not, included. So now, next is that some of the other reasons are that our data is often, is containing quite a lot of errors, or in data mining, which we call outliers. Okay, and so simply because of this, you often find that our data is dated. Okay, and so we need to understand that often data is noisy, and when we say noisy, we simply imply that our data quite has a lot of errors or contains some errors and which need to be corrected, and then we can rely on such data. So the unreliability of data is what often causes challenges in the future when you apply your data mining tasks. Okay, and so the other reason is surely inconsistency, with certain fields, as we expect that data is coming from various sources. And so now one source may, instead of capturing age, might decide to capture birthday or birth date. Now you can imagine, okay? And so now the idea of capturing, say for example, birthday, essentially is when it comes to elderly people that surely cannot calculate, and not only elderly alone, but then even young ones that cannot calculate their age. Okay, someone will tell you I'm 42 years, but then they were 42 years a year ago. Okay, and so even if their birthday is almost about to approach or approaching, they will not be able to tell exactly whether they were now 43 or 42. So now better, as an enumerator, you pick their birthday. It will guide in creating a new field that is age. Okay, so now when you have it as birthday, it becomes possible for you to calculate age as a new calculatable field. So now where you have such instances of age in one source and birthday in another data source, implies that you cannot integrate this data. Okay, you need now to harmonize, with the field naming and the values. Okay, and such that at least you can have this data put in one same place. Okay, and so now there are cases where we have or we expect a rating. Okay, and in one source is 1, 2, 3, and then the other sources are speaking of ABC. So it becomes a little hard integrating. So you have to ensure consistency as we are trying to integrate our data in a single source, okay, or in a single data store. Okay, generally all these are activities that are done when we are creating a data store, when we are creating a warehouse of data. Okay, and so in addition to that, essentially when we speak of various sources almost having quite a lot of duplicacy, okay, in number of duplicate entries. So you have custody in a certain data source, in a certain database coming from, say, Amil Hospital, and then Omar Hospital that is now in in Lira, all this, and you remember all this, and remember that since data is coming from different data sources, okay, we need to have it clean. Okay, we need to have it clean. We need to have our data clean in order to, have appropriate, insights, or efficient insights that you can trust. Yes, and finally, when we have understood why surely we need to perform data preprocessing. Okay, we have already seen that data is data. Okay, and so when data is data, where do all these things usually come from? Okay, where do these things come from? We have seen that at times research assistants, research enumerators will deliberately not include certain fields, or will consider some certain fields irrelevant. Yet, with the purpose of the research is surely to get
Doctor, you are breaking.
all the data such that later on it can be of sense. Okay. Oh, a second. Someone forgot that I'm using this for my when you country and someone does not action for your data, but at least I am trying to set it up such that I do not receive calls on it. The network is little not good, simply because of countryism. To make sure I can always pause when it shows me my connection is unstable. And so on your farm, and always alert me at some certain points, perhaps things did not, go clear with you, and then I can always, I hope class you usually alert me when certain things are not clear to you, simply because of the disturbances in the network. Okay. Yes. Otherwise, we were still talking about why data often is data. Okay, and where is this coming from? Okay, generally incomplete data comes from when we use non-applicable data values for certain attributes. Okay, for some data fields. Okay, and then essentially often would be simply because of you the times when we capture this data, this data, and the times when we analyze such kind of challenges will happen in say uh, in say the coding of the data. Okay, and so also